Hey, how's it going everyone, and welcome back to my channel. First of all, I want to thank all the new subscribers that have subscribed since my last video. I really appreciate it. If you are finding this video based on one of the tags that I have in the description to be searchable in YouTube, please like and subscribe, and please leave a comment. I really want to be engaging with my community that on the channel I'm trying to build here. I know some YouTubers, they do engage the community and some don't. I want to be one of the ones that, I care about this channel. If you leave a comment or ask a question, I want to respond. This is going to cover week 3 of TDI. We didn't have any recruiters come in from any of the truck schools. But one thing I decided to do, I also want to talk about any current events that are going on in the trucking community. And one big current event that's going to be happening, first of all, let me explain what the DAC report is. It's the Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse. Pretty much if you have any sort of violations, say you have a bad drug test come back, or you get tested for alcohol and you're above the legal line for drivers, which is half of what it is for normal motor vehicle operators. Whenever you get a violation, it goes on a DAC report and it stays there indefinitely. It will follow you your entire career. It doesn't drop off like moving violations do eventually. But they're changing some things coming, I believe November 16th or 18th, around that time period. If you have a violation and you haven't started the program, it's called SAP, Substance Abuse Program. If you have a violation and you haven't started that program, you will run the risk of actually losing your CDL. It'll be downgraded to a normal driver's license, which means you can't be a commercial driver. You can't make money driving. Now, they're announcing that now, but it's going to be effective in November. If you enroll in the SAP program and you're actively engaged in that program, you're fine. But those people that don't act on that SAP program, they're pretty much going to lose their job. Now, anything I talk about with this stuff on my channel, this is strictly my opinion. You can agree, you can disagree, leave a comment, we can have an open discussion. If you're messing with drugs or alcohol and you're driving a commercial vehicle, you shouldn't be driving a commercial vehicle. You need all your motor skills when you're operating that truck. Sorry, I just dropped my phone. Yeah, you need all your commercial skills when you're driving that truck, and it's strictly safety. If you're under the influence of something and your reaction time is decreased, that could be a very bad day for you and anyone else on the road. So, I actually agree with this change to the how they're handling violations. You shouldn't be messing with drugs or alcohol driving a truck. It's as simple as that. I have no sympathy for those that you're getting plenty of warning to fix your mistake. If you don't want to fix your mistake, hey, that's on you. Okay, so let me go into what we all did in week 3. My phone fell, so I lost my spot. Okay, so Monday. Last week, if you watched my last video, we were in the yard for the morning, and then we were driving in the afternoon. The way TDI operates for your week 2 and 3, whatever you do that second week, you flip and do the opposite for week 3. So for us in week 3, we were driving in the morning, and then we were in the range in the afternoon. So Monday, I did my Form A pre-trip, and I passed that perfectly fine. I missed one item out of like the 32 that are on the Form A. Again, I want to give a shout out to Jeff at Apex CDL with his videos. His videos really helped me with the pre-trip. I'm not going to have any issues with that, so I'm thankful for that. Had a good drive today. I asked Jack again if that drive would have been passable for the state evaluation, and he said, yep, I did perfectly fine with that. So after lunch, we went out to the yard, and the yard is pretty much going to be boring as I described the day-to-day, because I and a few others, we tested out really early, so we just had to wait for the people that, need a little more help just to catch up. Not a big deal. Monday, we also had, they call it a night drive now. Okay. I'm in Florida. We're in daylight savings time now. We started the night drive right after roll call for the end of the day. So we were in the truck and driving by like 5:15. Well, at this time of the year, it doesn't get dark in Florida currently till around 8 o'clock, 8:30ish. So pretty much 3 out of 4 of us, it was just, an afternoon drive. I believe Christian drove last right when the sun was going down. It wasn't dark by the time we got back. We got back probably 8:15. So, yeah. That just amuses me how they call it a night drive, but it doesn't get dark. Now, on standard time, when it gets dark at 6, then it's actually a night drive. But, yeah, that drive went fine. We didn't have anything going on then. So, let's go to Tuesday. Jack, our normal manual transmission road instructor, he was out that day. So we had kind of, he's like the building miscellaneous guy. He can take people out on the road. His name is Rex. He administers the DOT drug test, your first one, and any randoms you do. He does maintenance, some light maintenance on the trucks. He wears many hats. Well, when it comes to being for the driving on the road, Rex is very, very particular on how you drive a manual truck. I don't know how he is on the automatic. Everything's easier on the automatic. But I'm going to use what one of the guys that was a week ahead of me, I was talking to him about it, and he described Rex and Jack's pretty comically. Jack is like a sledgehammer. He teaches you how to drive the truck so the truck drives smoothly. When it comes to Rex, he's like a scalpel. He will fine-tune everything and get you to drive the truck like a manufacturer will want you to drive the truck. It was annoying at first to me, because by that point, I was fine driving the manual. I wasn't grinding gears. I was finding all my gears. Now it's just for fine. Everything was good. Well, then he tried to get me to pretty much break the bad habits I had. Like, well, one of them, if I'm driving in the city, I'm doing what's called covering the clutch. I have my foot on the clutch, but I'm not actually engaging it. I just have it planted there. He didn't like that. He's like, when you shift, take your foot completely off the clutch. That's a whole lot more leg work than I want to do. So I wasn't cool with that. And the other thing, driving in a city, I have one hand on the wheel and I have one hand on the gear shift, because, I'm going to be upshifting and downshifting based on traffic conditions. He didn't like that either. He's like, shift, 2 hands on the wheel. Apparently, he had said that these are the things that Terry, the state examiner, looks for on the test. We later talked to Jack, and not so much. Now, if Terry tells you to do something, do it. Part of the state exam is following instructions. You know, if he sees you resting your hand on the gear shift for an extended amount of time and he says, hey, you know, put your hand on the wheel, do it. Don't argue with the guy giving you the test. But when we were talking to Jack the next day, in relation to Terry, the state examiner, Terry would rather us drive the truck like Jack shows us than Rex shows us. So I'm going to keep doing my thing normally. If Terry wants me to correct something, I'll correct it. Okay, Tuesday in the yard, we did the final yard test out for the skills maneuvers. And what that entailed, we had to do 3 straight line backs, 3 offsets, both right and left. We had to do 3 blind side parallel parks and then 3 sight side parallel parks. Now let me explain the difference there. The state test does not test you on blind side parallel parks. Only the yard does. But like with the pre-trip inspection, the school teaches to a little bit higher of a standard than the state does. So I like that, because everything they do to make the state exam easier, because you had to do harder stuff. I aced the straight line and the offsets. The blindside parallel, I had to use 1 pull-up on 2 different attempts out of the 3, because, well, it's blindside. Everything sucks on the blind side. Talk to anyone in the trucking community, they'll tell you blindsiding sucks no matter the case. And then the sight side parallel, you know, I got that. No pull-ups, no points, nothing there. Okay, so that takes us to Wednesday. Wednesday on the road. It was a good day driving. At this point, the one thing I wasn't confident in was downshifting in the lower gears. So on one of the stops I was coming to, I think it was a red light, I went from 6th gear to 5th gear to 4th gear to 3rd gear all the way to a stop. Didn't grind, it was controlled. I was very happy. It was one of those giddy moments. So yeah, at that point there was nothing that I couldn't do with the manual truck. So definitely confidence boost. The yard for Wednesday, we were pretty much just practicing the state exams skill test. Now, one thing I don't have in my notes here concerning the state skills test, and one thing that me and a couple other students noticed, the manual test truck is a little bit different than the manual trucks that are in the yard. And they're different because the nose of the truck is between 1.5 feet to 2 feet longer than the manual trucks in the yard. Now, let me explain why that is, you know, a matter of importance. The first maneuver, I covered these in a video last week. The first maneuver for the skills test, you have to stop the truck with the front bumper inside that 3-foot box in that lane. Now, I've also talked about last week, I'm when it comes to yard, or when it comes to skills, I like using landmarks. The landmark I was using for that maneuver, when I'm coming up to that box, I have my back straight, and I'm waiting for that cone to disappear in the pillar of the truck. I stop, and it's dead center. When you have a truck that is 1.5 to 2 feet longer, that alters your stopping point in order to get that bumper in the box. So now what I have to do, instead of waiting when the cone disappears in that pillar, I need to wait essentially when that cone gets close to the pillar, but it doesn't disappear. Because if you miss that maneuver, that is 5 points. You're allowed 8 points on the state exam. That 9th point will fail you. You don't want to do that. So I definitely want to make sure I get that maneuver. with the straight line back and the parallel park, I'm confident I won't get any points, but let's be honest here. You don't want to accumulate any points just in case. Okay, so that goes to Thursday. Thursday, I did the forms B and C for the pre-trip. Again, I did Form A on, I think it was Monday. Now, this is another thing where the school teaches to a higher standard than the state exam. The old pre-trip inspection, when it was time to do the pre-trip for the state exam, the computer spit out whether you're going to do a Form A, B, or C, or all three. Now, under the new scoring matrix, you have to do the whole truck, but you're not examining as many items as the Forms A, B, and C. So, I was fine on my B and C's. I identified everything that I needed to identify, talked about it correctly. I didn't miss anything on those, so it was cool there. Let's see. Oh, this is the day when the road truck decided to take a crap on us. I was doing my in-cab part of the pre-trip inspection, which is the air brake test. Now, to cover what the air brake test is, you start the truck up and then you do a high idle to get the air compressor governor to kick in and cut off putting air into the tanks, and it makes a very loud, kind of like a turbo blow-off valve. Psh. So I did that. I got through my entire air brake test, and then when I went to start the truck back up again, it wouldn't start. And this happened once the week prior. I don't know what happened, but it wouldn't start for me. Jack got in his seat and started the truck. So I'm like, oh, it's happening again. Well, not this time. Jack went over, got in the driver's seat, and he couldn't get the truck to start either. So I asked about, okay, if no one's testing in the manual today for the state exam, can you just take us out one at a time in the manual test truck? I wanted to do this, so I got at least one drive in that truck before the test. That would be a great thing. Normally, you can't do that. I'll get into the reasons why once I'm done with the week. It's pretty significant for me. So Christian got lucky. Jack took him out in the manual test truck, and then when they came back, the office said, okay, you can't take that truck out anymore. Here's the keys to one of the other condo cabs in the back. So three of us ended up going out in that one, which sucked. When we did get the trucks swapped out, actually got on the road, I told Jack that I wanted to do my evaluation drive. The school evaluation drive, it's pretty much the same thing as a state exam. It's just that instructor is going through and, he's giving you points for when you do something wrong, and it's a mock state exam. My eval drive was passing according to Jack. That drive, I did one left-hand turn. It was coming off a highway. My trailer went through a little bit of the grass, but I specifically asked, hey, would that be a point? Because it was two lanes I was turning into, but one of the lanes was shut down due to construction. So I only had one lane to do to complete a 90-degree left-hand turn. And he said, as long as you don't hit any of the construction cones, your trailer can trail off and, run through the grass or go outside the line, because, you have limited room at that point. So that wouldn't have been a point. But yeah, the rest of that drive was fine. So my eval drive for the school was cool. In the yard, more practicing the state exam skills, no change there. And now we're at Friday, the final day of road practice. Jack told all of us, it was me, Christian, his first name's LeBrian, but his last name's Graham. We just call him Graham. and Tony, he said all four of us we're ready for the state exam. You know, we're ready for the pre-trip, ready for the road test. Well, this is one of those dee dum dum parts. I had like 300 yards left on my road drive, and we were going back to the part where we went on the very first day. It's, you know, back out of the way. It's kind of like a really small industrial type area, and I don't know what happened. It's like my brain stopped communicating with my hands temporarily, making a normal left turn, which I've done before. I didn't just rub the curb, I put that tire on the curb. It was horrible. Luckily, Jack still had, or he already had my paperwork filled out, so he couldn't hit me for it. He didn't want to change it. But he's like, yeah, just don't do that on the test when it's test day. I'm like, yeah, don't want to do that. That's an automatic fail. The yard, yeah, more practice for the state exam. The last day of week 3, you get a paper that tells you when you have to come back to the school for your actual state exam. Mine is this coming Wednesday. Today is May 11th, so that would be May 15th. Any appointment except for the 7 o'clock in the morning appointment, you can come in earlier and, you know, hop out to the yard to practice the yard maneuvers before you actually take a test. If you have the 7 o'clock appointment, you can come in the day before. And I'm pretty sure Graham got the first appointment because he lives locally. It's not a big deal for him to swing by the school and get some practice. He's like 5 minutes away from the school. You know, I live an hour and a half. 3 hours round trip, and Christian lives 15 minutes from me. That's 3 hours round trip to get practice for an hour and a half. Not very logical to me. My test is at 9:30, so I plan on being there probably somewhere between 7:30 and 8. I want to be able to, you know, just get some more reps in the skill maneuvering, just so I have the fresh muscle memory, particularly on the parallel part, or not. On the parallel part. I'm going to do offsets for that. So, that concludes week 3 TDI on the day-to-day activities. I don't think this video is as long as my last one, so I don't ever want to do really long videos. But yeah, if you found this video informative and you liked or disliked certain things, you know, like I said, leave a comment. I love debating people, keeping it civilly. But yeah, I'll do one more video after this with TDI when I'm done my road test, so I can, you know, talk about that, and then I will give my overall review of TDI for their 3-week school. So it's mostly all good stuff. One not so good thing, but again, I'll talk about that in the next video. I hope you all are having a good day, and I hope to see you back here. Catch you later.